Jason Rivero. I'm one of the regional sales managers for Premier Aircraft based out of Fort Lauderdale. And today I'm here to show you this brand new Diamond DA62. The Diamond DA62 has the Austro AE330 engines, and Austro is actually a partner company with Diamond. Austro is a 4-cylinder piston diesel engine that is ran by a FADEC system, so it's all computerized. The days of mixture and propeller control are long gone. You have a single throttle that controls all those different elements of the engine. Up front, you have a 3-blade MT propeller that is a wooden core with a composite coating and a steel-clad edge. That gives you a nice, really lightweight prop. So one of my favorite things to talk about with regards to safety is the dual spar wing design of the DA62. Now, with the engineers, when they were designing the 62, they realized, we could certify with one, but as an added measure of safety, let's go ahead and put in two. And so what they did is they nestled the fuel tank and their fuel cell between the two wing spars. And what that did is it offered more protection for the occupants if there was a crash. And unfortunately, one of the most common killers when an aircraft crashes is a post-crash fire. So to protect against that, they nestled the fuel tank in between the wing spar, and then they actually installed steel-braided hosing to connect it to the engines. And that way, if it does rupture, you still have that added protection that the cables won't break. And even if they do break, Jet A is significantly less volatile than avgas. So the DA62 has a tricycle style retractable gear, and it is actually a trailing link design. And that's something that you typically find on a much larger airframe like your turbines. This one, it's nice to have because it's a very oversized design for what the airplane is. So that helps because it really suppresses the impact of your touchdown on landing. And I like to say to customers, it makes your bad landings good, your good landings great. So the next thing to talk about is the empennage. And this aircraft has a T-tail design. It gives you a little bit greater stability in cruise, and two, really be able to have better handling in a low-speed situation and to recover from a stall. There's the 5-seat option, which is what this one has. And then there's also the 7-seat option, which gives you that optional third row, which puts 2 seats in the very far back. And then you have the executive configuration, which is actually 2 seats in the middle, and it has a cup holder and a little storage area in place of what would normally be that middle seat.
Lots of things. With 2 kids and a nanny, you can fit a stroller, a car seat, another car seat, a pack and play, and all the accoutrements that go with your kids and your wife.
So you fit a bike in here if you really want. You could put several bikes back here fairly easily. You could put, 3-4 check size baggage back there, or
Golf
5-6 carry-ons, golf clubs, lots of guns.
He's from Texas.
If you want to go hunting, this is the plane for you. You can load it up with your elk, your gear, and get on out.
If you're like me, I remember when I was flight training, one of my least favorite things to do was trying to shut the door like an old 172 or a Piper Warrior, because they're just difficult and they're cumbersome, and after a time that metal begins to wear away. But the DA62 actually has what we call the gull wing style doors. So they lift up like this, and then you get this nice big wide entrance. And that's really worth talking about too, because I certainly am the type to get claustrophobic. I don't like being in small spaces, but when the back passengers feel like they have their own rear door, own kind of control of getting in and out, and they have these nice large windows, it really, really makes a difference, especially on those longer flights. So when we go to shut them here, it's not this, slamming action like you have to do on a lot of other planes. You simply just close and twist, and she's locked and ready to go. Front, you got the G1000 NXI Phase 3, and Phase 3 is actually new for the 62. It gives you a bunch of other features that are really helpful when you're flying, especially if you're in a IMC situation or something like that. But here on the left, I like to go from left to right here. You have the engine panel, and one of the other themes we talk about with the 62 is redundancy. You have 2 ECU channels, ECU A and ECU B. The engine's computer knows whether or not to switch to A or B if it detects a fault. But in case for some reason that fails, in the cockpit, you also have your own control of that system. You can force it to go to ECU channel A or force it to go to ECU channel B. Same thing on your right engine here. You have dual alternators, another redundancy tool, and then you have your own dedicated alternator for the AC, which is just essential whenever you're dealing with, the South Florida heat or the Texas heat. But one of my favorite things to talk about with people as far as this aircraft is your start procedure is quite literally 3 steps. Turn on your electric master, you turn on your engine master, you're going to wait for the glow plug light to extinguish, and once you're extinguished, you click to start just like you do in your car, and that is quite literally it. We're going to verify we have oil pressure, and then we have a good start. Repeat the same process with the right engine, and then you got both engines spooling and you're good to go. One of my other favorite things is we're often doing long trips in these planes when we're moving about. Me personally, I'm 6'4", but sometimes people like to kick the rudder pedals forward or backwards whenever they get on the longer trips. But I also have little creature comforts. I have a water bottle holder here. I have a little bit of a larger cup holder here on the bottom right. It's a little bit difficult to see from this angle, but it makes a difference when you're on these long flights. One of the other really great features about the DA62 is it has an anti-ice system. It has a TKS system. So up here, you have your TKS panel. You have your 3 different modes: normal, high, and max. And depending on how long and what setting you're using it on, it can last you several hours. And then you have your ice lights. And then one of the other things I like is even this system's redundancy. We've been talking about redundancy this whole time. You have pump 1 or pump 2. So if one fails or the other one fails, you can move over to the other one. You also have an alternate switch that if for some reason the bus that it was on were to fail or short or whatever the reason may be, you can switch it to a different bus that will allow the system to keep operating correctly.
We've got a second baggage compartment here.
And then on the other side, you actually have a secondary one.
And maximum baggage looks like 66 pounds.